So how do we find our first sales job? So we've identified that our skill set that we currently have, we feel like we've got the right mindset, we got the right skill set to get into sales. Now it's time to start looking for that sales job. I always tell people the first thing you want to do is pick a sales job or pick a career or a sales field based off not necessarily what you want to sell or what you feel like you want to sell, but how you want your day to look. For example, if you want to work from home or work remote a lot, you might be looking into software sales. If you want to be in a structured office setting or in a place where customers come to you, perhaps cars or something like that might be what you're looking for, where you have a built-in storefront, something with a motor, selling something with a motor, whether it's boats, RVs, ATVs, cars. That they have a storefront. You're gonna have a built-in customer base just from a physical location. Mattresses, for example, furniture. These are things that got that inbound client base. Or you might want to travel a lot. Something that where you want to get out, get on the road, home services, things like that, where you're selling a remodeling service. You're selling maybe custom alarm systems, solar, things like that, where you're going to the client's home to pitch them. You might want to wear a suit and tie, which I'm sure not many people want to do that, but especially in this day and age, but financial services, things where you've got a little bit more of a professional feel to it. Maybe you have a professional background and you want to continue that that professional look of being in financial services. I know that the first sales job I took, my first commission sales job that I targeted was in construction, home remodeling services. And I wanted to just simply wear jeans every day. That was how I made my decision. For the car lots I was interviewing at, I would have to wear khakis. But in home remodeling services, jeans fit. So that really was one of my deciding factors. That was that day to day, how I wanted my life to look, not necessarily the product. Product knowledge will come from your experience moving forward in your training. Okay, we might have identified what our day to day looks like. And you can research this a little bit better based off like different industries. You can look up on YouTube, look up on Google or ChatGPT and find out what the daily activities, not necessarily the sales activities or how to prospect, but how your day to day looks like. How many hours are you expected to put in? How many physical hours are you in front of a boss? Do you have management? Do you have training? Things like that. Okay. Now we might have identified where we want to start applying or looking for jobs. Now we need to actually start physically applying for these jobs. How do we do that? First, we look for places that are hiring. We can find them in a couple of good spots. You've got Indeed is a great application to find jobs, find sales careers. LinkedIn's another good resource. LinkedIn's great to build out help build you out your resume. LinkedIn is essentially a kind of a social media for your resume. And we'll have other videos in the future to kind of discuss what makes a good LinkedIn profile. Now, we need a good resume, something that really sells your skill set, kind of relates your skill set directly to the industry you're applying. For example, let's say if I come from a background from working in a factory, my first job was working in a grocery store as a clerk at stocking shelves. You're a young entrepreneur, your first job, stocking shelves. Now you're looking for that first sales opportunity. And let's say you're looking to get into selling cars. You want to sell cars and you're applying to a used cars sales log. You're trying to get your foot in the door, something entry level. Now, I would build my resume around how my skill set at stocking shelves relates to selling cars. I might talk about my skills of always being on time to work. Like I had a perfect attendance for work. This is because I'm always willing to be at the office, being someone that's ready for that customer to come to the door so I can serve them. You talk maybe relate to your customer service skills at the grocery store about how you not didn't they asked might ask what aisle is something in, and you responded not just with giving that specific aisle to find things, but you might have been like, this would be a little tip. Even you can fake it till you make it. And this is maybe not something you did, but it's something to think about. If I was telling a story of my grocery store experience of helping customers and trying to relate that to car sales, I might have been like, if someone came to me, I would tell them how a customer came up to me, asked me what aisle were the baked beans in, and I would respond with not only, "Oh, great, the baked beans are in aisle 12, but what do you make? Are you making something with specific to the baked beans? Do you need something else related to that as well? Because we've got charcoal on sale in aisle 10 if you're grilling out." That's might be a little value showing your future employer that you're thinking about the customer, not just being an order taker, but how to create value for the customer. So I would build my resume around that, being very really tailoring and really speaking to the skill sets I've learned and how I've want to apply them to their business to sell product for them. Okay, now we've worked on our resume. This is important, this next step. How do we know if this is a good sales job? There's a lot of sales jobs. That's one thing there's a low barrier to entry in sales. There's a lot of companies out there that are willing to bring on 4, 5, 6 people, put them through, because they look at it like, if we bring in 6 people, we've got to do training anyways. So instead of training 1, let's just train 6. And we'll see out of the 6, which one sticks it out, which one's successful. It's like just throw them into the fire and hopefully a couple deals come out of it. In some industries, they will specifically hire you as an entry-level salesperson because they want to get to your actual personal contact list. The insurance industry is famous for this. They'll hire someone that's entry level because and then during training, that skilled salesperson is doing a ride along with you to meet with all your personal friends and family. And they're essentially using you to access your contact list and pretty much bleed you dry for as much as they can. And then once you no longer have anyone of value, you probably run out of leads, you don't have any more resources for them, and you get tossed to the wolves. This is the inside reality of sales. When you're new, you're entry level, you're very disposable. So how do we identify a sales job that maybe isn't so predatory? Because they are out there. Now, what you want to look for. These are some tips that you can look for to help you not waste your time on throwing your resume out to a bunch of different places and taking a bunch of interviews and possibly picking a job that's going to set you back instead of moving you forward. Because if you want to get into sales, you want to learn, you want to get experience, you want to have success, you want to actually make this a career. You don't want to just if you have that bad experience right off the bat, you might just swear off sales for good. Okay, so one thing you want to look for right off the top is salary expectations in the job ad. I always find this is a telltale sign that the company that's advertising for salespeople really know their own business. Because a lot of people, and I see a lot of business owners that don't even know how to hire salespeople, how to pay salespeople. They're guessing too. And you can tell this when they post salary ranges. Usually the salary range is something drastic. It's something like, it might be like, make amazing sales opportunity. Make $50,000, make anywhere between $50,000 and $250,000 a year. Those are two drastically different income ranges. At one end, you have the average income range for working adults. And then you have all the way up to a top 1% income in the United States. So which one is it? One, you're basically making an average income. The other one, you're getting financial freedom. When I see these large gaps in between income ranges, you're essentially saying is the employer is basically saying is, we don't know what you're going to make, but you could do really well, or you could last a week. They're not even sure how to get you to that. They don't even know. They just hope that they catch lightning in a bottle. Maybe someone's got some skills and will bring a bunch of contacts with them and make a bunch of money. But so I stay away from those large income ranges. It just signals that they don't really know how much. They might even really know their comp plan. They don't even know what to pay you, because they don't even know that the deals that you're going to be selling for them are going to make them money. Now, I also look for some sort of skin in the game. I want my employer, this is number 2, I want my employer to have some sort of skin in the game when I'm getting a sales job. What do I mean by that? So you'll see this sometimes in benefits in sales jobs. The benefits will be paid training, and that's maybe it. Paid training, weekends off. Okay, great. You paid training, you have $500 for the week that the guy shows up for training. That's not that big of an investment for, especially if one deal from that person, maybe one contact from that person is worth $500. I want my sales job, person that's hiring me, to also invest into me. You want that investment. You want something that, now, this is not necessarily base pay. I'm not saying that you should be targeting base pay or a salary, because we are going into sales. Commission is a way to what's great about commission is the way to always outpace inflation and get yourself paid what you're worth. So we are targeting commission jobs here because we're targeting sales jobs. But we want some sort of, I always tell a good salesperson or someone that's good at sales, don't look for a base pay, look for a base amount of leads. Because if you're good at closing and good at converting, you're going to get, your employer's promising X amount of leads per week. That's your base pay. You know that, oh my gosh, I know that I have prospects coming to me on top of the prospects I'm going out to get. So I know that I have some sort of built-in amount of sales appointments. So target people that they're getting a salesperson. You want an employer that's getting a salesperson because they have more prospects than they can handle with their current team, and they're missing opportunities by not having more salespeople. You want to stay away from companies that are looking for salespeople because they themselves need more leads. They have a lead problem themselves, and they figure we'll fix this not by getting more marketing or building our pipeline, but by just getting more salespeople and just throwing them out into the ether and hoping they come back with deals. We want a system in place. We want a set comp plan, a system in place. We want some sort of leads coming in that we as salespeople, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be getting our own leads or we shouldn't be prospecting, but we want some sort of commitment from our employer that we're going to get a certain amount of sales appointments from them, whether it's a car dealership that is seeing an increase in foot traffic. So they need another person at the desk to make sure there's no customers not getting serviced. That's the situation you're looking for. You're looking for the HVAC company that's getting so many calls that they're not getting appointments. They have the ability to run 10 appointments a day, but they only have the manpower to run 5 appointments a day. So they need more salespeople to service those customers and get more deals. You're looking for the insurance agency that's looking to expand. They're getting so many calls, they don't have enough people to properly handle all those calls. You want some sort of inbound, not complete. You're not trying to eliminate your ability, your responsibility for prospecting or growing the pipeline, but you're helping service an existing pipeline while expanding that pipeline by your own prospecting. So some sort of, skin in the game, maybe not just leads, but also equipment. Maybe if you're a traveling salesperson for a home services company, maybe they provide you with a truck and a gas card. That's a built-in that's a base pay right there. Like that's taking, instead of you spending your own money on your own vehicle, they're putting that in there for you. Maybe it's X amount of dollars towards your own marketing. I've seen sales jobs that offer that. They offer maybe $1,000 a month to spend strictly on marketing, or maybe even more. So then you have some sort of skin in the game that they're looking to invest into you, to earn for them. So we've talked about unrealistic salary expectations. We've talked about and wide salary apps and being an indicator that they don't really know what their own comp plan is. They don't know what to expect by hiring a salesperson. So they might be at you as a novice salesperson, you're getting hired by a novice business that doesn't even know what to expect from salespeople. 2, we were looking for some more skin in the game, looking for something from them. Now 3, I want my sales organization to be selling me. I just don't want some generic sales ad that's boring. Obviously, ChatGPT uses the word rock star. Oh my gosh, that word. When I hear the word rock star, I cringe. I would delete the ad right away if I seen looking for sales rock star. Delete. You want, if a company is a good sales organization, if they're selling you to join them and not just saying, hey, I have a job here, come apply. The same thing, you as an applicant aren't just looking to check a box, here's my application, let's have an interview. You're trying to convince them to spend the time to actually talk to you. Whereas you want them to also spend the time, you want them to convince you to spend the time to apply to them. So look for organizations that are selling you on the job, on the sales job, on the opportunity. That's an indication they know their sales. They're an organization that trains and pumps out salespeople. And that's, as a novice, as someone getting in the industry, you want that. You want good training. You want a good investment. You want someone that's willing to invest in you because you are new, but you have a lot of upside. And you're looking for someone that's going to give you realistic salary expectations. Hey, your first year, if you do this and this, you're going to make $80,000 with us. Your second year, you'll make 105 if you do all these things. That's a realistic salary expectation from a company that knows their process, knows what leads they got coming in, knows what their profit margins are. So these are 3 things to look for when applying for sales jobs. Now, the last thing is, how do we get that interview? So we've done the resume, we found the job, we've submitted the resume. How do we get that interview? So you're a salesperson. You're trying to become a salesperson, or you are a salesperson looking for that new sales job. You should be treating your next job opportunity like you're trying to get a deal. So you need to hunt that deal down. It's not enough just to apply. You need to research that company and research the hiring manager, cold call people, cold call the front desk, walk into the place. If it's got a physical office, if it's a car dealership, you walk in with your resume, like, hey, I want to talk to the sales manager. I'm applying to this job here. I think it would be I know it's worth his time to sit down and give me 30 minutes to tell him why I can help raise his volume targets this year. Things like that. Showing that initiative, showing that ability to reach out, talk with people, network, have conversations, be engaging, be funny, be entertaining, make the conversation enjoyable for the people involved. Do that to set yourself above all the other applicants, get that interview. Because now we get the interview, we will, in the next video or in a future video, we'll talk about how to nail your sales interview. But right now, we've known how to pick the job, we know how to get the interview. So again, this is Ryan from Selling University. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. Hopefully you got some value out of it. And if you did, please click like, hit subscribe. I look forward to talking to you in the next lecture.